200. Hey, I just talked to you yesterday. All right, let's continue on with our journey. Okay. So as you can see that what I've done, I'm right here in part two. All right. For those of you that are new to the class, you really need to click here and look at how to navigate the course and get an A. Or you can go back to the announcements. And I think this is what Julia has told you to do via email is you got to go back and kind of just and track through the different announcements that have been made. Okay. All right. So here is again the original how to get an A. Okay. Tells you how to navigate the course. This was the first lecture. Okay. That was looking at global aging. I'm going to show you how to access that. And then here again is a timeline that Julia just sent out to you, just kind of highlighting some of the key dates that you should calendar. And this class comes at you pretty quickly, and it's just best to be on top of it. Okay, so this is the opening page, how you get in, and this is basically what you're going to have to do. You'll see she calendared these other things, but we're going to focus in on this right here. And okay, so during my previous lecture, I went into this assignment right here. We're now going into assignment number 2. Alrighty, so you got my New Orleans shirt on, Saints, who dat? Okay, come on, Drew Brees this year. All right, again, this is summer 2020, and I'm giving you a different view of our house every single lecture. All right, so now we're looking over through our kitchen right now. Okay, alrighty, so all right, so I'm going to stick this video right here. It's going to go right here. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I've already downloaded this article. So you just click on the PDF file and download it. We're going to be going, we finished with Trend 5. We're going to go all the way through EndNote today, Trend 6 through EndNote. My recommendation is every single time what you're going to do is you're going to click on this. That's the quiz. You hit begin. Okay. And save answer each step of the way. Okay. And then you kind of look over the questions right here. So which European country has the highest household numbers investing in mutual funds? Okay, based on this article. All right. It's really in contrast to countries like Greece and Spain and Italy that are highly, individuals are highly reliant on that pension system that the government has to pay them. Okay. All right. So then here's another good question. The change in the dependency ratio. We're going to explain that to you in a second. Okay. Was it the fertility? Okay. Oh, let's find out. All right. Okay. Um, why is China rethinking their social security system? Okay, all right. So you have to ask yourself, is that all of the above? Maybe. Okay. So anyway, these are all questions that you would review. Again, I'm just doing this from my laptop, but if you had a bigger screen, okay, you could have multiple or even two computers. You could have um, multiple screens open at the same time, and it makes it easier for addressing the quizzes. Okay. All right. So we're over here. I just clicked on the quiz. Okay. This right here is the article that I want you to download. This PDF file. Again, this is a great overview, and then we're gonna be going through each one of these topics in a lot more detail. Okay. But it's a real cool way to kind of get a preview of what's going on. So here's the article right here. And I'm going to jump all the way down to, all right, sorry. So number 3, number 4. So 5, we were on my last lecture, especially if you're new to the class, okay? We were just tripping out on Russia and the population decline, all right? It's really cold there. And economically, it's very unstable. And people that are young and economically driven are getting the heck out of Russia. Okay, and so there's very little fertility. The old people are left behind, and we're seeing this population decline. And then you see this in the age structure. Lots of old people right here. Okay, and that's the green is a positive number. So people are advancing into every year. that I get older. All right, so I'm going to be 64, and the following year I would be into this little bar right here. Okay, all righty. So and then we have down here, all right, where people are no longer in this age group. All right, so it shows you declines of fertility, aging out into this group, and no replacement. All right, so all right, so that was the old one, and so because of these transitions, all right, what I've been trying to say, okay, is, and this is going to be part of your paper, the very first paper, the critical thinking paper, that we're going to go over this in a second right now. All right, and so we see low birth rates. Okay, that's a decline in fertility. Yep. All righty. So and that then has pretty significant effects on family care. All right. So if you know you look at my family, okay, I have two boys. Okay, so in the prior generation, okay, I had two brothers, so there were three. Okay, in Julia's family, there were three. Okay, this go around, we all have two. All right, so that means there's going to be a lot more responsibility placed on my two boys because it's not shared, and a lot of you may be only children. Okay, um, you guys may not have any kids at all. Who's going to take care of you? So this is all this dynamic, all right, that's happening. Okay, and it becomes a bigger deal because we are seeing this in general this increase in life expectancy in um, westernized, industrialized um, uh, countries. Okay, they refer this as a beanpole family, and that has to do with the graphical representation. If there's a big lot of people that are young, it's more like a pyramid, and if the young people disappear, then the age structure gets like this. Okay, where the younger down here at the bottom, the older down here up here at the top. Okay. Um, Alrighty. So so we're looking at the different factors. Reduced fertility, and also reduced mortality. People live longer, okay, because of scientific improvements, hygiene, all the things we've talked about before. Okay. Alrighty. So and so the dynamic is changing dramatically. Okay. We also see more likely incidents, or more likely a factor, is divorce, remarriage, changing in family dynamics, things like that. Okay. Alrighty. And this is going up and up and up and up. So it's discussed here in the population. So with respect to population, and here, I'm going to get something to drink here. I feel like Marco Rubio. Awesome. Okay. I have a little food in my throat. Alrighty. So we look at as a function of the transition. We see that right here, the United States, 9% of the population over age 65 is divorced. But if we start going into younger groups, divorce rate is higher and higher, and even higher in the younger groups. Okay, so we see that the divorce rate goes up, and that is a complicating factor for care. All right, and that's what that is. There's a lot more likelihood of childlessness. Okay, especially your guys' generation. So you guys are really foregoing having children, trying to get your act together, and then that has consequences. So you make choices in life: do I want children, or do I want to be really successful financially? So, all righty. So if we don't have people to take care of us, so the old traditional households right here, we're talking about the living arrangements in this little section right here. So we a likelihood of having multicultural households is greatly increased. You're much more likely to have grandpa and grandpa around, and great grandpa and great grandpa around. Okay, and so certain cultures, that's a cool dynamic. We've kind of lost that culture, and so what's happened is we have a lot more reliance on spending money for the care of older members of the population, and that's long-term care facilities. And this can be anything from assisted living facilities to nursing facilities, all these different levels of care. And so we kind of went just full on into this in the United States, and there wasn't oftentimes um, consideration of the population and that they all are vulnerable, all are dependent. We saw the full fallout of that with COVID-19, where there wasn't a really good plan and emergency preparedness, and we saw what happened. All right, so we can look at this transition right here in Japan. They're looking at living arrangements for people over the age of 65. Again, Japan's kind of a readout because they hit this kind of threshold a lot earlier than other countries. And we see right here that we're looking at the likelihood of living in an institution without a relative. The percentage is going up and up and up. This is 2000, so this is doubled by now. Likelihood of living alone has dramatically increased, and the likelihood of living with a married child or relatives is going down, 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 down because there's a reduction in fertility. There's no children around to do this. Okay. All right. So if we find ourselves living alone, okay, living with us here or living with a spouse, we still got to pay rent. We still have to do a lot of things, and so there's been this kind of shifting pattern in terms of work and retirement. Okay, and so it's a big deal. Okay, we hear it in when I listen to Congress and Senate all the time. Policymakers are kind of struggling with the entitlement program, Social Security, Medicare, pensions, okay, for all government employees. And this is not only the U.S. issue, but it's a serious issue in a couple of countries where they were very generous and they offered huge pensions to across the board to members of their country, and now they're saddled with that in terms of their gross domestic product, which is the amount of a balance between the expense of the services, like a pension, versus the manufacturing products that the country makes. Okay. All right. So we'll scroll down here and we'll kind of look at some of the bigger issues. Okay. So this is the economy, okay, of countries, okay, and this changes in this kind of welfare philosophy, okay, and pensions is changing, okay, and we have undergone a huge change in our country, and this right here, it shows you that the transition going from um, uh, 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 using a pension system versus using a defined contribution, which is saving on your own. So looking right here, because countries are pulling back, they're not giving people pensions, people have to work for longer. And we see this transition right here in this particular study where both men and women are working much, much longer. And you see women show an acceleration in the workplace after the children have left the household. Okay. All righty. So, which countries, have these giant pension systems that serve as an incentive to leave the labor force? Okay, a pension is guaranteed income the rest of your life. Like I said, like a police officer, like a firefighter. Um, and so you see Japan is low here. You see countries like Italy, France, Spain is in here, Belgium. These have a high level of high percentage of the population are being given pensions. Okay, and that becomes a burden. All right. Um, so when we look here at again this concept of social insurance, okay, it's a financial insurance. Okay, what I'm talking about is we have escalating pension expenditures as governments, okay, as a percentage of what you are spending, and we can kind of look at that. I was just kind of messing around right here, but we can look at, for example, pension spending charts right here. So I was just kind of googling over here, pension spending as a percent of your gross domestic product, and so what we can do is just look at a couple of different countries. Look at the U.S. right now, and um, and we can so see that as a percent of our gross domestic products, that our pension spending has just been going up and 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 up. Okay, so that's money out. That's money lost. Okay, and then we can go back and look, ask which countries are are most seriously impacted, right? So this is looking at European countries right here. And like I said, Greece, okay, Italy, France, okay, these are all significantly impacted countries. Portugal, okay, and you go down, 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 and you see certain countries do not lay out a bunch of money, all right? So that means they expect you to work or put your own money aside, all right? Okay, pretty interesting stuff, all right? Okay, let's go back to what's going on here, okay? And this is, the other issue is the Social Security, social insurance system, okay? And so, as I was just saying right here, okay, you can see as a percentage of the real annual income that the country has. You see that certain countries are really, really saddled, whereas Ireland is doing okay. Some countries are really saddled, and and we're kind of in the middle of the pack right now. All right, all righty. So China saw this, okay, because here's the big deal: you have millions and millions of pensioners, people that rely on government funds to pay their way after they retire. Um, but we see right here the number of people that are funding the pension, okay, is going down, 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 down. All right, so that means you're gonna have, how are you gonna cure this? You're gonna have to tax people at a much higher level, or you're gonna have to give people with a pension a lot less money. You got to make the budget work, and that's so it's a real economic challenge. All righty, all right. So this is it goes over these economic challenges in this particular chapter, and and it shows you right here that there are transitions happening. So this is again global. So we see not people in those countries that I just showed you a second ago that had great pension systems. Why should I take my own money and invest in stocks when I know you're going to give me money anyway? So they're not investing here. Whereas in these countries, and we do well in our country. A lot of people are taking their own money and investing in terms of stocks and mutual funds. Mutual funds are large bundles of individual stocks that we're going to learn about. Okay. All righty. Now, when we look at the labor force, okay, we're looking at economic growth right here and changes in labor force. Okay. Um, ultimately, what this section right here is talking about is the dividend that comes, and we see they talk about this, that a dividend is benefit that comes. First of all, if you're an educated society, and they talk about this through here, okay, um, if you're an educated society, the dividend, okay, the return on that investment comes in terms of a lot more money rifling through the system, okay. So the gross domestic product increases, and as you get older, then you're much more likely to take that money and spend it in investment and keep the country going, all right. So we can see this as a function of age right here, that as you get older, you make more and more and more and more and more money, you plateau, and then you kind of age out of the system. Okay. We're being forced to go this way right now because of a lack of security in terms of pensions and Social Security. Um, just because you're showing this decline in making money doesn't mean the amount of money you're going to spend is going to change. And that's a huge issue. So you would have got to make sure you have enough money to make it to the finish line, and that's what this is all about. Okay, awesome. So that kind of goes everything right there. At the very end, it tells you how they gathered this data. This is a great global report. Now I'm going to scroll backwards here. And we look at things like the number of people paying into the system versus the number of people that are taking money from the system. And this really is part of your critical thinking assignment. So we can come back over here. Okay. And if we look over here, this is the first paper. And I'm going to go back to the announcements because Julie is letting you know when it's due. Okay. So go back to the announcements right here. Okay, so she's laying it on the line right here. Okay, what things are different due. CT1 clinical thing is due June 8th. Okay, all right. So in June 8th, if we go back up here to the critical thinking assignment, which is right here. All right, it's taking you to, I give you a little tutorial on how to do it right there, okay? And it takes you to this amazing data repository that the entire world and scientists put data into it about just about everything. So you guys are going to use this someday in your lives as well. And it tells you how to get in there and look at different things. We can look at birth rate, dependency ratio. That goes back to the discussion that I had about a lot of pensioners and fewer people that can, fund that pension, right? So if I go over here, I just did a quick Google. I said dependency ratio over the next 25 years, and it takes us right to the very first thing that pops up. It shows how important this database is the World Bank, and it shows that these are world um, dependency ratios. If you want to know what's going on, it says details, and you click on that and it explains what it is. The age dependency ratio is a ratio of dependents. That's people younger than 15 and older than 64. All right, they're no longer contributing financially to the economy of the country. All right, and it's the ratio of that to the working age population. Okay, those people are contributing to the economy. All right, so you're paying taxes to fund these other people, or you're making salary to make sure you put on the food on the table for these people. Okay, all righty. Now, um, this is again the world, but you're going to be asked to put in individual countries. Okay, so I can scroll all the way down here. Where is our favorite country? Okay, there it is, right there. All right, so if I click on that, I come back up. Um, and then we look at the United States. All right, so I put that one in. I can put another country in here. How about Algeria? All right, there you go. All right, so there it is right there. So now you can see the difference between these two. Okay, now what's of interest to this is let's look at how when we look at young. All right, so these are again these are people that need to be funded. All right, so we click on young. There's the dependency ratio, young versus old. So there are a lot more younger people in Algeria than there was in the United States. Okay, now we watch this transition happening when we look at old. All right, so these are people that are retired, and what do you see here? Bam, a lot more older people. Okay, contributing to this dependent thing that we saw earlier. All right, cool. So you're gonna get very familiar with this, and I will guide you through how to take care of that. All right, let's go back to our lecture. Okay, our assignment. Okay, I'm gonna go right in here. I'm gonna click on number 2 again because we haven't finished everything. All right. So what you got to do here then is you got to come down here and do the discussion. All right. So we're gonna look at the issues that I've just been bringing up. All right. So we see here, um, as a globe, okay, we see that there are fewer people under the age of 5, and more people that are older. All right. So that's gonna really change the distribution of the economy and society in terms of dealing with things. Um, the speed with which this is happening, okay? Remember, we looked at that before. We saw it took a long time in France, but they're there, okay? Sweden, okay, but they're there, okay? The US, okay, we were shorter, but we're there. And now this transition is rifling through the system in these younger countries, and they're having to deal with it. And some of them are very populated, like China. Okay, alrighty. That was my dog. She's making all kinds of noise over there. Um, all right, so this is the growth in population, okay, that we see in India and China. People age over the age of 65, and you see how rapidly this is happening. So these are global issues coming to you guys for answers to this, okay? So then I want you to deal with my prompts right here, okay? And also, this kind of tells you what I wanted you to do up here, all right? And then I want you to do a quick analysis by looking at these videos, watching Japan go through the issues, and then this one right here, okay, and the economic crisis that's created by the decline in fertility. You know what? One of the you don't think about it, but if you don't have kids, you don't have young employees to work in your different types of professions or to work in your different types of individual private workplaces. So that's where immigration becomes important. All right. All right, guys. So that's a quick run through of everything. It gives you a feel how to do this. And I'll be back next time because what we're going to do next time, I'm going to scroll right over here. We're going to go to the assignments, is we're going to hone in and focus on the United States. Okay. And that would be right here. Again, this is an amazing database. You guys should all become familiar with the Pew Research Center. Okay. So we're going to hone in on just a couple of their articles. Okay. And you'll see it's going to be a real interesting journey for you guys. All righty, cool. So I'm going to get my act over here. I'm going to say fight on again, and we'll see you next time.